Joseph Hayne Rainey was born enslaved in 1832 in Georgetown, South Carolina. His father, a barber, worked tirelessly to buy the family's freedom. And by the time Rainey was a young man, he understood something many never had the chance to learn. Freedom was fragile and it had to be protected. When the Civil War began, Rainey was forced to work for the Confederacy, digging trenches and serving officers. But he escaped, fleeing to Bermuda with his wife, where he worked as a barber and watched the world change from a distance. When the war ended, Rainey returned to South Carolina with a mission. Reconstruction was beginning, and he saw an opening, a chance for Black Americans to shape the future of the country that had enslaved them. He stepped into politics with a calm confidence that unsettled the men who believed power belonged only to them. In 1868, Rainey entered the South Carolina state legislature. He spoke with clarity and purpose, pushing for civil rights, public education, and protections for freedmen. His leadership was steady, measured, and strategic. And in 1870, when a congressional seat opened, Rainey was elected to the United States House of Representatives, becoming the first Black congressman in American history. His arrival in Washington was a shock to the political establishment. Some welcomed him, many despised him, but Rainey did not shrink. He stood on the House floor and delivered speeches that cut through the noise of Reconstruction politics. He defended the Ku Klux Klan Act, calling out the terror that gripped the South. He demanded federal protection for Black voters. He exposed the lies used to justify violence and intimidation. Rainey's voice was calm, but his words were sharp. He told Congress that freedom meant nothing without safety. He warned that democracy could not survive if millions of citizens lived under the threat of death for trying to vote. His speeches were so powerful that newspapers across the country reprinted them, and even his opponents admitted he was one of the most effective speakers in the chamber. But Rainey's rise came with consequences. White supremacist groups targeted him. Southern Democrats launched smear campaigns. They accused him of corruption, incompetence, anything they could invent to undermine his influence. And as Reconstruction collapsed, the forces against him grew stronger. By 1878, after years of intimidation and election fraud, Rainey lost his seat. He continued to serve the public, working in customs and advocating for civil rights. But the political world he had helped build was crumbling. The South was returning to white rule, and the progress of Reconstruction was being dismantled piece by piece. Rainey watched as the rights he fought for were stripped away, but he never stopped believing in the power of truth. Joseph Rainey died in 1887, largely forgotten by the nation he helped reshape. But his legacy is undeniable. He broke the barrier that others thought was unbreakable. He stood in the halls of Congress when the country insisted he did not belong, and he used his voice to defend millions who had been silenced for generations. They tried to erase him. They tried to bury his legacy. But today, we restore him. They buried these stories for a reason. Because once you know how Black power rose, you can see exactly how it was taken away. And once you see the blueprint, you can recognize every version of it still being used today. This isn't just history. This is the manual. And the fight didn't end in Reconstruction. It just changed clothes. If this episode opened your eyes, don't let the story stop with you. Share it. Talk about it. Challenge the silence that kept these men hidden. This is Black Justice Untold. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.